The Battle Dome should be hopping again in St. Louis when the Battlehawks launch their first United Football League season. Renovations are underway, more to come later this year. And biggest of all, the Battlehawks could be playing for the championship on their home turf. With that, let's bring in Bryan Kennedy from KMOV Television in St. Louis. Bryan, first of all, I got to ask you, I need to confirm here. I have a report that cacao is still the law in St. Louis. Can you confirm or deny that?
Oh, trust me, I can confirm cacao is the law, and we will see that as a fact when they roll into the dome here in about probably a little over a month or so.
Yeah, let's talk about that home opener on April 6th against the XFL champion Arlington Renegades. What a great way to start that home season. Do you think we're going to see the scenes that we saw from 2020 and even 2022 or 23 with St. Louis team being there and all the fans starting to pour in there?
So what's funny is, I started here. I'll be here 3 years this fall, so I missed like the first, I guess, iteration of the Battlehawks. And so obviously when we're doing newscasts, we're pulling video of like fans or whatever when we hear that they're coming back. And I was like, man, it was crazy. But one thing you saw, because once again, I'm a news guy, was the attendance kind of dropped off as the season went on. So I was like, man, what's it going to be like when they start back up? But dude, I mean, pulling up to that outside of the dome, we're catching up with fans. They're going crazy. I have no doubt that they're going to be nuts again. Those games were fun. I shot, I think, all but maybe one home game just because I love football and I love atmosphere. And those games at the dome had them both. It's going to be nuts again. I mean, they literally had a certain amount of tickets they needed to sell. And I think nearly every game they had to open up the top deck, the 400s, just to fit the fans in because they wanted to see football at the dome.
Yeah, and let's talk about that dome for a little bit. I know there's some renovations that are going on around there. Now, as far as inside the dome, the good news is the turf is going to be replaced. Bad news is it's not going to happen this year. But when fans show up at the dome, will they see some of these renovations around there?
Yeah, I know. Once again, I'm newer here, so I had never really been in the dome for anything. Coincidentally, the only time I've been in the dome before the Battlehawks game was my first year. I took my son to the Royal Rumble. They had it at the dome.
Right. Oh yeah.
So I went to that, and that was the first time I've been in the dome. And admittedly, looking around, I was like, okay, this place has been through it. It's been through it a little bit when it's over.
Right.
But I know even when we were there, they've had some events over the past year. They're already improving. They're updating. I mean, because the rumors and the idea was that St. Louis may even hold the championship. So obviously, if they're going to host that, or it's been rumored, not confirmed, we'll see what happens. But they are definitely updating. And overall, I mean, the turf is the big thing, and I know, but they're improving a lot of other things to really make that experience better.
Yeah, let's talk about we are operating under the assumption that the UFL championship is going to be there. RJ Young from Fox Sports kind of let the cat out of the bag with his article, and then he changed it really quickly after it was published and said there were rumors that it was going to happen in St. Louis. But I'm interested. I know because of how spring football is embraced in St. Louis that it makes sense to have the UFL championship there, at least on paper. Do you think that, let's say the Battlehawks aren't in the championship, are they going to, will they have a crowd there for a UFL championship?
That's what I don't know, right? I don't know I mean, fans love football in general. I mean, the Battlehawks were one or two steps away from making it last year to begin with. I think it'll be full. Now, will it be full like it is for Battlehawks game? That's a different question. But I think without a doubt, there'll be fans there. And, depending on how affordable tickets are, I think you can see fans think, what, I'll go see the UFL championship because, why not? And it's funny when the news broke about it, when Fox Sports released that article, we're actually having Darius Shepard, who's a receiver for the Battlehawks, and the Battlehawks media guy at our station.
Yeah.
And so we're like, people, our news people are asking us, like, is this true? Is this true? I'm like, well, I'll be here in 5 minutes and we'll have your answer. And they were like, yeah, no, that's not official. But then the receiver, Darius Shepard, almost hinted that it is going to happen. So, I mean, it's all but official. I think they're just waiting to make it official.
Yeah, and I think we might hear that this week as they start to release some rules and the new merchandise, updated website, and all that. I know, you mentioned about how the Battlehawks were so close to getting to the playoffs and head coach Anthony Beck was pretty vocal about he didn't like the way that the rules were and that the formulas were in place. That's going to change this year. I'm sure he's happy about that. He's made some of the media rounds. He's really been trying to drum up support on social media. Are you starting to see, him? You said Darius Shepard was there in your station, but have you seen Anthony Beck out and about doing these kinds of fan events, things like that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think they have a fan event coming up here soon. I know they're kind of drum up support. The playoff thing was a big deal last year because it was funny. No one really knew what was going on until we got there and we're like, wait, so you're telling me the Battlehawks may not make the playoffs and they had this ridiculous season. So, but he was very vocal about that. And it's crazy how things change when you're vocal about them. So, but yeah, I think they're coming out here for a fan event soon. And, what they did last year was probably about once every other week, they would have different players and Anthony Beck out here for different stuff. Now, I know last year a big deal was they had Ricky Prohl as an assistant coach. He's not returning, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure they'll have assistants out here, on a weekly basis as we get closer to game time.
Yeah, I was able to come to a game last year. It was very fan friendly. It was they had a lot of things happening before the games. They had a whole little city set up out there with different events happening and all kinds of places to get merchandise, things like that. It was a good vibe. I'm going to say that it was a really good vibe. What kind of vibe is St. Louis right now with, even though it's a different league, but the Battlehawks are back?
Yeah, I think people are pumped, man. I think people just want to continue to prove that Kroenke's wrong and Kroenke's an idiot and he doesn't know what he did by taking the Rams away. I think it's twofold. I think since I moved here right when that settlement and lawsuit was hitting, right? So I really learned, one, how much people hate Stan Kroenke and the Rams, and two, how much people want to prove him wrong, but also three, how much people just love football. And I think, when that team was leaving, they were just not good, simply not good. And people will say that was on purpose for Kroenke, but story for another day. But I think people love football here, and this is our opportunity to show they do. And people aren't paying. I mean, if you go to a Battlehawks game, fans are wearing Battlehawks gear. It's not like they're just showing up to check out a football game. You got grown men dressed as birds. So I think you don't think you do that if you were just trying to, show, that you're a sports talent. It's that you truly enjoy your team and you want to be there.
And you got grown men who did buy gear at the game too.
There you go.
Of course. You talked about Stan Kroenke. Thanks to him in this settlement, what was it, like $800 million, and to the city, with $30 million of that going to the renovations at the Dome. So I guess at least the whole America Center there. So it seems like there is a little bit of payoff for the fans, even though they lost their NFL team.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get a rich guy, hit him in his pockets, right? So that's it's kind of like a last laugh for sure.
Bryan Kennedy, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully, we'll get to see you out there, out on the field. And I know you've got to be excited to cover. You've covered the XFL, now you get to cover the UFL. Add another one to your resume, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll put it at the top. I'm excited. I just love football, so I'm just excited to cover some football.
I'm with you. Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you.